today's yoga class. For today's class, we're doing a bit of chair yoga. So if you grab yourself a comfortable chair, you don't need a mat for today. We'll be focusing on opening up the shoulders, the neck, and all those other areas that tend to get tight and sore from all the sitting that we do. We'll start off standing. So just coming to stand behind your chair, just softening the knees, taking the feet about hip distance apart, reaching the arms up and over, interlocking the fingers, and then pressing the palms up towards the ceiling. Just checking in that we're not arching the back, and then gently guiding the biceps past the ears. Just taking a couple of deep breaths here. All the way down into the belly, and slowly releasing the breath through the nose. As you do, just softening the shoulders away from the ears. And again, deep breath in and out. One more deep inhalation. And this time as we exhale, let's gently lean over towards the left side, finding a stretch into the right side body. We'll inhale to come up to center, we'll exhale over to the right, feeling a stretch into the left side. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Inhaling back to center, and as we exhale, just circling the hands behind us, interlocking the fingers, and roll the shoulders back and away from the ears. We're going to move into the neck, so I want you to just be very gentle here. You can keep the eyes closed or open, whatever feels comfortable. So tucking the chin to the chest and gently rolling the left ear to the left shoulder, and then rolling over to the right. If you would like and it feels good, you can drop the head gently around the back, making a full circle. If that's perhaps too intense, just keeping it at 180 rotation left to right. So trying to use the inhalation one way, exhalation the other, just matching our movements and our breath. We'll do 2 more deep breaths here, just moving in any way that feels good. Before slowly releasing the hands, giving the shoulders a little shake. You can come to face the chair, placing the hands onto the chair. Slowly walk the legs back and just allow the chest to melt through the arms. You can bend the knees as much as you need. Just getting a beautiful stretch into the shoulders, the upper back. And just allowing the body to melt down with the exhalation. To get a little deeper into the posture if that feels comfortable to do so. And inhaling to slowly come back up to that standing position. Take the feet about shoulder distance apart. You can hold into the chair for some support. We're just going to do 5 slow squats just to get the blood flowing to the legs. Trying to keep that weight back into the heels, so pressing the hips back and down. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And 1. Place the hands on the hips. I'm going to take some big, slow hip circles. First going in a clockwise direction. So don't worry about how you look. It's all about how you feel. And changing direction. Drawing those big anti-clockwise circles with the hips. And completing 1 final revolution. Taking the left foot back nice and far, finding a high lunge position. And almost imagining pulling the feet in opposite directions. We're not just collapsing into the front leg, both legs are working. We feel a stretch into the front of the left hip flexor. So if this is enough for you, stay here, otherwise the left arm reaches up and over. So that's going to accentuate the stretch. If that's too much, you can keep both hands onto that chair. And again, finding that deep inhalation, slow exhalation. Slowly placing left hand onto the back of the chair, coming onto the full left foot, and we'll slowly start to pull the weight back into the left leg, straightening the right leg, and see if we can float those toes off the floor. If that's too intense on the hamstrings, you can keep a small bend. So the further back you pull those hips, the more intense it's going to be into the hamstring. Taking a couple of breaths here. Enjoying the sensation of that stretch into the back of the leg, the glutes, the calves. And we'll slowly come up to change legs. So we'll step that right leg back, finding that high lunge. Square off the hips. And if you feel comfortable here and you want to get further, just reaching that right arm up and over to the left side. Noticing the different sensations between the left and the right side of the body. Maybe noticing if one side felt a little easier, a little tighter. And slowly releasing. Let's flatten that right foot straight and the left. Seeing if we can lift those toes off the floor. Push those hips back into space. And find that big stretch into hamstring. So just coming as far as is comfortable for you. If you have really tight hamstrings, just remembering it's an option that you can have that knee bend. And slowly coming back up to standing. So the next one I'm going to give you two options. We'll start off, I'm going to start off on the left just so you can see me. Lifting up the knee and then just catching the ankle of that foot, bringing the knees to touch. So you should feel a big stretch into quite the front of the thigh. Okay, to get into that shoulder, you're going to take that grip to the inside of the foot, still trying to keep the knees to touch. So if this is too intense for you, rather just hold on to that ankle. So you should feel a nice opening into the chest, the shoulder, as well as some lengthening into those hip flexors. If you'd like to get a little bit further, we're going to take it into half dancer. So you might need to step yourself a little bit away from the chest so you have a bit of space. So finding that quad stretch, finding that shoulder opener, and then as you inhale, just leaning the hips forward, kicking that foot into the hand. That's going to deepen the stretch into the front of the thigh and into the shoulder. So maybe this is a little too intense for you, then you can always take it back to the quad stretch. So you just find what works for you. Just taking a couple of deep breaths here, keep kicking that foot into the hand. And we'll slowly release to change sides, maybe shaking it out in between. So if you want to come into that half dance on this side, just giving yourself that little bit of space. Using the chair for support, so either holding onto the outside of the foot or taking that hand to the inside. If you'd like to get further, start to kick the foot into the hand, finding that standing dancer pose. And just coming as far as feels good for you. Slowly releasing, give the body a shake. We're going to come into our seated portion of the class. So you can have a sit onto your chair, just at the edge of the chair, so we have a bit of space to work with. And we'll start off with some cat-cow movements. So placing the hands onto the knees, as we inhale, we'll pull the chest through the arms, the head's going to look up, the shoulders are going to squeeze together, and as we exhale, we'll tuck the chin into the chest, pressing ourselves away from the knees, rounding through the spine, separating the shoulders. Inhale, finding that cow back, and exhale, tucking chin to chest, finding that cat back, really squeezing with those deep abdominal muscles. Let's go for 3 more. Inhale and exhale. So these are all stretches you can do, just taking a little break at work. You don't need any equipment, just your office chair. So taking regular breaks every hour or so is really going to help you so much. It doesn't need to be a long full class, just doing a couple of stretches, and we'll inhale back to a neutral position. Moving back over to that neck, we'll interlock the hands behind us, similar to when we started the class. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Take a deep breath in, and as we exhale, just take the hands over to the right side. And at the same time, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. So you should feel quite an intense stretch into the left side of the neck. Now, option to hold the chin, just breathe into the side of the neck. Or gently start to take small movements, taking the gaze down to the floor and then up to the ceiling. So you might notice a spot that feels a little sticky, that feels a little tight. If you find that spot, you're welcome to stay there. Just breathe into it. We'll slowly release the head, bringing the neck onto the shoulders. Open up through the chest, and we'll take it over to the other side, left ear to left shoulder. Again, option to stay here or slowly take the gaze down and up. Maybe you'll notice one side feels a bit tighter than the other. Okay, just moving slowly, exploring, noticing, being aware. The more you do these stretches, the more you'll know those kind of trigger points, those areas that you experience a lot of tension. You'll be able to find them straight away. And just breathe into them. And releasing. Nice deep breath in. And release, hands onto knees. We're going to move into some shoulders. So take the arms out in line with the shoulders. And we'll sweep the right arm under, left arm over, bringing the backs of the hands to touch. Or if it's accessible to you, you can bring the palms to touch. As we inhale, we'll lift, and then as we exhale, lower. So just taking a small movement, just moving up a couple of inches at a time. If this is too intense for you, just taking it to a nice big bear hug. Give yourself a hug, maybe taking it side to side. And using our breath here. Inhale and exhale. Let's go 2 more. Inhale and exhale. And release those arms with the shoulders, a little shake. Maybe doing a couple of circles to the back, to the front. We'll move over to the left side. So arms in line with the shoulders. Sweep the left arm under, right arm over, or hugging the right arm over left arm. Bring the palms to touch if you can, otherwise back to the hands. And we inhale to lift and exhale to lower. So just checking in with the shoulders, making sure they're not creeping up towards those ears. Using those full inhalations, not rushing our breath, and exhalations. Let's go for 1 more. And release. I want you to take the right leg, bring it in towards the chest. You can first just give yourself a little hug, sitting up nice and tall, feeling a nice stretch into the lower back. And then we'll take the right ankle, place it over the left knee, finding a figure 4. So this might already be really tight. Hold it there. If you want to get a little bit deeper, just using the right hand to apply a gentle pressure to guide that knee a bit closer to the floor. So the sitting that we do, our hips tend to get really stiff, really tight. Just listening to the body, not forcing anything. And let's change sides. So bringing that left knee in, maybe giving a little hug, pulling the chest through the arms, finding some length. And then slowly taking the left ankle onto the right knee, using that left hand to guide it. Just be mindful, maybe one side's a little tighter than the other. That's normal. And slowly releasing that leg. So we're going to move on to our wrists and forearms, which is probably the most neglected thing. We don't stretch it out really often, but because we spend so much time in flexion, our forearms tend to get really tight, which can also then result in neck and shoulder pain. So just as important to stretch out the wrists and fingers as any other part of the body. So we'll start off sending the right fingers up towards the ceiling and just using that left hand to pull them, draw them back in towards the body. So you should feel a nice stretch into the bottom of that forearm. It's not forcing anything, you don't want any pain. You just want to feel that satisfying stretch. And at the same time, you want to check in with those shoulders, that they're not rising up to the ears and that we're not tensing the neck or the head. And keeping the rest of the body relaxed. Releasing, making a fist with that right hand, and then we're going to use that left hand to just guide the fist down towards the floor. So this time you should feel a nice big stretch into the top of the forearm. So I don't know about you, but it feels pretty good to me. Hold each stretch 15 to 20 seconds. or as long as feels good. So maybe you want it a bit longer, a little shorter. And we're going to just give that right hand a nice big shake. Move over to the left, so fingers up towards the ceiling, pulling those fingers in towards you. Maybe the side is not as intense as the other side, I find, because my right hand is my mouse hand, and it's my dominant hand. Definitely feels a lot tighter than the left. So maybe you don't spend as long on the left, that's also fine. Making that fist and drawing the knuckles down towards the floor, enjoying that deep stretch into the forearm. Checking in with those shoulders and the neck, just making sure that you're keeping everything relaxed. And give a nice big shake. We've got 2 more wrist ones. Another great one is just making some slow, lazy circles with the wrists all the way around. So really exaggerating the movement. And we'll start off going in towards each other and then changing towards the outside. And the last one we're going to do, maybe give those wrists one more shake out. Turning the fingers down towards the floor. We'll use the left hand to first take hold of the pinky finger of the right hand and gently pull it in towards the body. So you're going to feel a more focused stretch than when we did the whole hand. And this also really helps you identify those specific areas that are quite tense or quite stiff. Then we'll move on to the ring finger, the middle finger, the index finger. So this is why I definitely feel it the most. And then the thumb. And give that right hand a nice big shake. And we'll end off on the left hand. Fingers facing down towards the floor. Just guiding the pinky finger in. Moving on to the ring fingers. Again, you can stay here as long as feels good for you. And moving on to that middle finger. The index finger. And lastly the thumb. And relax, shake it out. Just give the shoulders a little shimmy, the neck, and just checking in, seeing how you are feeling. So I want to challenge each and every one of you watching this today to take regular breaks at work, even if it's 2 minutes per hour, even if it's 1 minute per hour, and maybe just pick a couple of your favorite stretches from today, the ones that felt really good, so you don't have to do the whole sequence every time, just picking 1 or 2, and then you can see how you feel after about a week or so of doing that. So we'll end off with a short meditation. So maybe if you want to sit a little further back into your chair, as long as you're comfortable, you can close your eyes, you can place your hands onto the backs of the knees. And start to just bring that awareness inside the body, just tuning out any background noises or distractions. Allowing the shoulder blades to soften and melt down the back. Starting to bring the awareness to the breath. Inhaling through the nose, sipping in that beautiful fresh oxygen. Feeling the breath travel all the way down into the belly. Noticing the belly rise, the chest, the rib cage inflate. And as we exhale, slowly releasing all the breath out through the nose. Squeezing out the air in the belly, deflating the chest. And again, deep inhalation. Fill the body. And slow exhalation, let it go. With every inhalation, just breathing in positivity and light into the body. And with every exhalation, exhaling any tension, any negativity. allowing the body to soften, to let go with every exhalation. So feeling the body become more and more relaxed, feeling the mind become more and more relaxed. Until the body feels almost weightless, at ease, at peace. And slowly start to bring some movement into the body, wiggling the fingers, maybe making little circles with the wrists, the ankles. And then with the next inhalation, sending the arms all the way up to the ceiling, interlocking the hands, pressing the palms to the ceiling, similar to when we started, taking a nice big stretch, maybe taking it side to side. Maybe circling his arms behind, opening up the chest, the rib cage. And slowly releasing, you can blink the eyes open.